In today's world of market volatility and uncertainty, your retirement plans need to be front and center. With ever-changing tax laws, healthcare worries, and an unpredictable stock market, don't overlook the vulnerability in your retirement planning. Protecting your family and estate will be difficult with shifting policies in Washington. It's more important than ever to keep an eye on retirement.
Hi, and welcome into Eye on Retirement, the weekly show that keeps you in the know about all things retirement. If you're new to the show, welcome in. And if you're one of our many regular viewers, welcome back. We've got a full complement of panelists for you for this episode, to include Matt Goolsby of Market Advisory Group, a financial advisor, Joshua Cicora of Market Tax Services, Trey, Basa of Market Medicare Advisors, and Gerald Eidelman, estate planning attorney with Eidelman Law Firm. I'm your host, Rick Everett, and again, welcome in. Matt, the team recently met with a lady by the name of Melanie who had moved from Illinois to Kansas, and she had annuities that she had no idea what they were or what features they had or what they were even costing her.
Yeah, and you're so true there. I mean, and I know you were in that meeting as well with us. And when she moved here, she was moving here to take care of her sister, and she really had a lot of focus on that. So her investments maybe were not quite the priority they should have been. But in these annuities, they had income riders on them, but she really wasn't turning them on. She was paying for something, in effect, she wasn't using, but she'd take withdrawals out of it, which had a detrimental impact to those features and riders that it had there. But she didn't have a trusted team to help her get questions answered before she did things that hurt her.
So every year she was literally paying fees to have income that she wasn't taking.
Yes, that's right. And when she's paying those fees for these income riders on there, she was literally paying for something she had no intention or maybe even knowledge of using. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, but if I'm paying for something, I want to know that I'm getting value for it or that I'm getting something in return for it. And she was doing all this unbeknownst to her, but she actually came to one of our tax classes and she had tax concerns there. So she came in and had a conversation about that. But back to tax consequences there, if she turned on this income, it would cause a taxable income for her. And she had a pension and some Social Security. So that's why she hadn't really even had a desire to turn it on. But we've actually worked together, Joshua, one of our CPAs and I, before, at doing this strategy where we turn it on and just it creates a rollover. So she could roll it over to another pot of money.
Joshua, one of the concerns that Melanie had was the quote, if I take the income from the annuity riders, it's going to put me in a higher tax bracket and could disrupt Medicare or Social Security taxes. Now, I could imagine having that rationale, but are there tax planning efforts that could come into play to help manage the additional income?
Yes, there sure is. In her situation, she knew that there were these potential pitfalls, but she didn't know where they were or how she was going to run into them. So we needed to sit down and kind of navigate where these problems were going to be. You know, if she turned on this, what was it going to do here and here? You know, how was it going to impact her Social Security? How was it going to impact her Medicare costs? And with Matt and I being able to sit down and talk about those, we were able to help her navigate and decide which pieces to turn on and which ones not to, which ones to take the income and reinvest and which ones to supplement our cash flow. And that was one of the great places where us working together were able to address those things. If she had just come in and met with me as the tax professional, I could have given her some rough ideas, but without being able to plot out exactly what things she could turn on, and by not turning it on, how it impacted her and how she could roll the funds over. She would have had a lot of back and forth that she was going to be responsible for in communicating things between me, the tax professional, and the financial advisor.
Well, and you and I work together, and we see these situations all the time where people out there haven't had a financial advisor that works with a CPA in-house or a Medicare advisor and estate planning attorney, and they get incomplete information. And when they have incomplete information, they make decisions that might not be best for them because they don't have all the information they need to make an informed or educated decision.
Matt, and one of the things that she said right out of the gate when she came to Market Advisory Group was that it was the team approach, knowing that she had so many sets of eyes looking out for her, that made her compelled to come.
Giving people peace of mind with their retirement plan is absolutely a priority of ours. And if we can do that day in, day out, not only does it help our business, but it's very satisfying to help someone that they have questions, they have concerns. Sometimes people don't even know what questions to ask. And that's when we go, well, you know, we see it every day. Well, maybe that's someone we need to bring in from the estate planning division or the Medicare or the CPA, or all of us together at the same time. There's been many conversations where we've had that happen.
And more times than not, the whole team gets involved just to get a complete snapshot of what it is the client's dealing with.
Yeah, because like I mentioned before, as a financial advisor, I can't give tax advice, but when you take a withdrawal from an IRA, 401k, sell off some stock, turn on these income riders, do all these different things that happen to you over the course of your retirement, you need to make sure you're getting information before you take that withdrawal, information before you start taking Social Security, information before you pick a Medicare plan, information before you lose a spouse or have something happen to you. All these different questions help people, well, all these professionals help people with these questions every day. And I can't imagine how people sleep well at night knowing they have to relay all that information on their own if they don't have all their professionals under one roof.
And Matt, each client that comes through the doors that we take care of are as unique as a thumbprint. But yet the situation of somebody having a financial investment vehicle that they maybe purchased 10 or 11 or 12 years ago, that they perhaps didn't have a clear understanding of how it was going to function in the future, or B, perhaps had even forgotten that they had that particular instrument. That's not an uncommon situation for you to discover, is it?
You're right, it's not, because here she is. She opened these accounts years ago. I think one of them was even 10 years ago, and she's paid all these fees into it. But you bring up an interesting point there, and I'm going to elaborate on that. As a fiduciary advisor, we always have to do what's in the best interest of the client, not our firm, not the advisor. So working in her best interest, here she's setting these accounts for 10 years. She's paid all these fees. We could just go take it somewhere else, but then she's paid 10 years for no benefit. As a fiduciary, we have to do what's in her best interest. And that was, in that moment, some outside the box thinking and saying, you know what, we could turn this on and roll it over. And that's what Joshua helped us do. And it rolled it right over to an IRA. It didn't become taxable, right?
That's right. We just did it as a rollover. There was no tax consequences to that. And then she was able to have that money continuing working for her, but not having all those fees that she was going to she had before, and seeing, you know, we were able to mix and match some of the risk tolerances, some of the different goals to meet her unique thumbprint, like you said, Rick.
Do you have one set of eyes looking out for your best interests in retirement, or a whole team whose fiduciary responsibility is to ensure your best interest? At Market Advisory Group, we provide a holistic approach to retirement planning, from the financial aspects to estate planning, Medicare advising, and tax planning. And we do it all under one roof for your convenience. If you'd like to set up a complimentary, no-obligation consultation, operators are standing by right now to take your call at 316-252-8707. Again, 316-252-8707. And you can learn more about us at ionretirement.com. We'll be back with more of Ion Retirement right after this.
When people work with Market Advisor Group, they get a feel of sense of family. There's a lot of relationships that are made and going on in this conference room, and we really take a lot of pride in that and a lot of satisfaction in that.
Every client we work with, we make a custom-made plan to fit them and help reach their goals in life. Another thing that makes us unique is we want to meet regularly with our clients and have reviews.
Market Advisory Group, we have a process, and the process we take people through is first to understand what they have, understand who they are, and then we put together an income plan for them and show them how they can look forward to retirement and not look, though retirement is going to be a stressful time. It needs to be a stress-free time.
few unique features of working with Market Advisor Group is holistic in-house financial consultants. We've got an in-house CPA, Joshua, an in-house estate planning attorney, Gerald, an in-house Medicare advisor, Bill. We rely on all of those professionals for, again, additional service within our consultative process, making sure that we've got the advice and the expertise behind the recommendations that we make.
You know, as an advisor, I'm not there to sell them one way or the other. I'm there to educate them, to let them know what their choices are. Then I try to help them make the right choice where they can save money and feel confident in their decision.
Absolutely the best part of my job is getting a stack of paperwork from somebody and they don't know what to do, and then I can turn around and give them back a tax return, but also to be able to explain what they can do next year that will give them a better answer than what they had this year.
When we've got clients that are calling and they need to help out a child or need to help out a grandchild or need to help themselves out and they're in a situation they didn't expect to be in, I really relish the opportunity to help them through that, help them make the educated decisions in somewhat stressful situations, because a lot of folks don't have that type of counsel.
We meet with so many people one-on-one in this office that don't ever end up becoming a customer or doing business with us, and that's okay. But when they leave our office, we know that we've helped them either get some answers to some of the questions they had or get some clarity on maybe their own path.
But one of the things that we hear all the time is, I wish I would have met you guys 10 years ago, because how much further could I be down the road? Well, Johnny Appleseed said, you know, when's the best time to plant a tree? 10 years ago. When's the second best time? Today. And so if we can help people today going forward, that just brings an incredible amount of comfort and excitement for us to come to work every day.
Hi, and welcome back into Ion Retirement. We've been visiting about Melanie, a client that came to Market Advisory Group after moving to Kansas from Illinois in an effort to help care for her sister. Melanie had some annuities that she wasn't quite 100% sure on what to do with, as well as some unique tax opportunities for help with our tax department. One of the other uniquities of Melanie's situation revolved around estate planning. She had no children of her own, which makes the estate planning aspect different than leaving her legacy to her kids. Gerald Eidelman with Eidelman Law Firm. The leaving of a legacy to heirs, many times in conventional, if that's the proper term, in conventional modes, it goes to the children. But in non-conventional modes, it creates some unique opportunities for estate planning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do see a lot of clients who have no children, and the question becomes, who will be the heirs of a significant amount of money that they had accumulated? They're not going to be spending all the money because it's a large amount of money, and they want to make sure that it goes to either the people they want to, or in many cases, charities, organizations that they support, or schools. And part of the challenge is trying to figure out how do we structure those things in transferring those assets from the client to whoever the heir will become. There's tax considerations in planning these things. One of the things in this case, like Melanie, she had a lot of retirement money. And sometimes clients want to control how money is distributed to charities and other things, and they put them in trusts. The problem with doing that is that you're losing out on a tax advantage by leaving the annuity, the retirement account directly to the charity. You lose control in that process, but it's very important because if you distribute directly to the charity, you get there's no tax on that distribution, and the charity gets the full amount.
So is this a situation where you would want to be doing things differently than a trust?
Well, I think sometimes you can do two things. One of them is have a trust. Let's say, for example, Melanie, and obviously her sister was sick, so she would not have been a good primary beneficiary. But if she had chosen siblings that were not sick and that were likely to could outlive her, then you might want to still control the distribution to those siblings through a trust, and then have the charities and retirement accounts being distributed directly to the charity. So you would bifurcate the distribution of your assets in a way that is both tax efficient and also helps, because if your siblings are around your age, they might predecease you, and the trust will allow you to pass that on to their children or a charity, if that's what you want, without having that money just being lost in the state of a sibling.
Chances are, without a full team looking out for someone's best interest, this is the type of a situation where just a financial advisor wouldn't have the qualifications or knowledge to execute the proper path of going forward in estate planning.
Oh, absolutely. One of the big advantages we have is we have Joshua to give us tax advice. As we're making considerations of an estate plan, tax advice is very important because there's different ways of passing out assets. There's different tax consequences to your estate if it exceeds a certain amount. And so being able to work with Joshua, it's a big deal that other clients who don't have an opportunity to do if they go outside, because they would be, I have questions that I can ask Joshua that are specific and are, they're intended for a particular purpose, and he can answer that. If I tell the client to go to their own advisor, and then the client has to translate what I said to them, and hopefully actually get the same idea to that advisor and get good advice, which in turn, she or he would have to turn back and let me know that this is what the advice was. So working together, we don't have that barrier in communication.
You're a big deal. He called you a big deal.
Another aspect of complete retirement planning when you have a team working for your best interest is Medicare. Trey, Basa, share with us the assistance Market Medicare Advisors helped with in this situation.
In this particular situation, Melanie moved from one state to another. So under original Medicare, her Part A, Part B, and her supplement plan, still all in effect, no worry about network restrictions. But her prescription drug plan, she had an opportunity to switch that up just from moving from one state to another. They do have some sort of network restrictions. There are standard and preferred pharmacies for prescription drug plans. But moving from Illinois to Kansas gives her the opportunity to look at what else is on the market, in the Kansas market specifically, and look at what would best suit her in the new area. Additionally, there is no need to switch for the Medicare supplement plan from Illinois to Kansas because it's still in effect as it was in Illinois. But we do have cheaper rates in Kansas because of cost of living in the area that she was moving to. So we could save her a little bit of money in that realm as well.
Can you see where having a whole team going to work for your best interest is in your best interest? At Market Advisory Group, the whole team is here to work for you, from the financial aspects to estate planning, Medicare advising, and tax planning. We do it all, and we do it all under one roof for your convenience. We also offer a complimentary, no-obligation consultation for you by simply calling 316-252-8707. And please be sure and check out our website at ionretirement.com. We'll be back with the final segment right after this.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no-obligation, full-blown financial review today.
Hi, and welcome back into the final segment of Eye on Retirement for this episode. Matt, you recently had a couple attend one of the free Social Security workshops that Market Advisory Group puts on throughout the area, and you helped them discover a financial blessing.
Yeah, we teach those Social Security classes once, sometimes twice a month around the metro area. If you guys ever want to come to one of those, you can go to our website, marketadvisorgroup.com, and look at the class tab. But this couple had come to a Social Security class. He'd been on disability for a long time, Social Security disability, and had not worked. She was continuing to work, and they were both getting ready to turn 68 years old. And because they had reached their full retirement age and she had not collected her Social Security, she can actually go and backdate up to 6 months of her Social Security because she had passed her full retirement age. That's something you can do. You can always go back up to 6 months to your full retirement age. It's kind of a technicality there. But they were elated to know that they'd get a check for almost $20,000 because they had needed to do some house repairs and things around there, and they didn't really want to tap into their savings for it. And this was just a big blessing to them, and they were really happy they went to the Social Security class.
Right, a financial boon to boot. Had they not attended that class, would they have been able to recover those funds? I mean,
no. After they'd taken 12 payments, that's a good point. After they'd taken their Social Security for 12 payments, they've deemed or they've locked it in at that point. But this is sometimes something that I find that's not widely known, that people can go and backdate at the initial filing of their Social Security, to be clear on that. Once they've reached their full retirement age, there's all these little rules and gotchas that are similar to taxes or Medicare or estate planning, that if you're not working with someone that has experience in that, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars.
Trey, nothing to touch on here for Medicare because she was still working, right?
No. So the
Wrong.
income that
Bad Rick.
the income that she would get from that Social Security, the 6 months, however that would be paid out in that year, and that would actually mess up her income for the year. So moving her a little bit closer to what we call IRMA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount. At a certain point, depending on how they were filing and what they were making, that's going to determine how much they're going to be paying for their Part B and their Part D for Medicare.
Is that something, Joshua, that through adjusting and shifting and moving things that you can dance right up to the edge of Irma maybe, but not have to dance with her?
No, you don't want to dance with Irma, that is for sure. I always advise clients when we're talking about Irma, as much as we are wary of where the tax brackets cut, we are even more wary of where Irma cuts, because you go $1 over that threshold, you're getting whacked with that entire extra cost, and it sticks around for a year. Whereas if we could be a little more conservative, maybe not turn on some income streams or something, then stay a little further away from that limit, that sets you up, because things can happen over the course of the year. You just never know.
Now that lump sum payment that Matt was talking about, the $20,000 by backdating the Social Security, is that taxable?
Absolutely it is. When they found out they were getting a blessing, Uncle Sam was standing in the corner,
Right.
licking his chops, so to speak, knowing that he was going to get a cut of that. And because of some of the complications we've talked about before around how Social Security gets taxed, it touches how they're drawing the rest of their income. So we need to take a look at it to see how it's going to be taxable or not. Not to mention the fact that you have a special election you can make where you can say, if you're getting this lump sum payment, you can have it treated as if you received some of it in a prior tax year if it benefits you. It doesn't always benefit people. It just kind of depends on where they fall out in the tax brackets. But it's worth it to take a look to see if doing something a little bit different than normal can benefit you in the long run.
Gerald, Matt shared that they didn't actually have an estate plan, didn't think they needed one. They're married, so they don't need one, right?
Wrong.
Wow, that's wrong.
Who wrote this?
No, I mean, whether you're married or not, you need an estate plan. The reality is people think sometimes because they have joint accounts that they automatically going to inherit each other's accounts, and so there's no reason to make a plan. But the problem is that, yes, it's true that most of the assets will pass to the surviving spouse. But there's been cases when we had spouses own a piece of property, not as joint tenants with right of survivorship, but as just as husband and wife. And as that, then there has to be a way to transfer that property, which could be their home, to their to the other spouse. And if you don't do that while you're alive, when both spouses are alive, then I have to come in and clean that up, which might include going through probate to get that property into the surviving spouse's name.
Another example of the entire team coming to work and each working in their own roles to make a much better picture for people in their retirement planning.
It's what we do day in, day out. And, she was also concerned about all the volatility going on. We said, yeah, we can address that. So we worked together on a plan to help avoid that volatility with all this uncertainty in the market right now.
Matt, real quickly, with all the uncertainty that is going on right now, anything people should be doing?
You need to have your portfolio reviewed as soon as possible. With all the uncertainty in the world, whether it's world events, whether it's our own U.S. Government not getting along, Federal Reserve raising interest rates, a lot of things can be happening there.
That's all the time we have for this week. I'm Rick Everett along with the entire team, thanking you for being with us in this episode. Again, if you'd like to set up a complimentary, no obligation with the entire team, the number to call, 316-252-8707. I'm Rick Everett, along with the entire team, reminding you we're here to keep an eye on retirement.
Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns are not indicative of future results. Each individual investor situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in the states where it is registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by security regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. No legal or tax advice is provided. Always consult with a tax professional. Legal services are offered by Eidelman Law Firm. Tax services offered by Market Tax Services. Market Advisory Group does not provide legal or tax advice. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not in any way refer to investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing insurance company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. The guest commentators featured in this show are not investment advisor representatives of Foundations and do not provide advisory services. Market Advisory Group does have several investment advisor representatives that can provide such services. This is not endorsed or affiliated with any U.S. government agency, the Social Security Administration, or associated with any federal Medicare program. All rights reserved.